It's finally time to start our career mode as a driver in Formula 1 in F1 24. And today we are gonna start with a new, fun and exciting career mode because I've been doing a few episodes already. They will be uploaded very shortly in the near future as we are setting up our character. But there will be some chaos. There will be some fun moments. And of course, I can't wait to show it all to you guys. We are going for, as you can see, we're selecting our academy. AlphaTauri, Alpine and McLaren are not really growth-proof. I don't like the sound of the Ferrari, and Mercedes is just not my favorite team. So I've decided to go for the AlphaTauri, then eventually grow towards the Red Bull. So yeah, I'm excited to see how we are gonna evolve in F1, as our rating is 65 at the moment. 50 experience, even though I've been driving for about 8 years. Racecraft is 66. Awareness is 64, that's 64 too high in my opinion. The pace is 68, would have loved to see that one higher. And the focus is 60, which is about right. But let's go and sign our contract.
Finally, let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff. Merchandising, likeness, blah, blah, blah. But the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
So, as you can see, we got our contracts in our hands, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The expectations of the team, well, as you can see, we are not... or we can still choose between 65 and 75, I think it is, that we can choose between. But we're going to sign the contract as we have set it on 72 to give ourselves a bit of a challenge, even though I can still set it higher. But we'll see that in the next few seasons, I guess. The upgrades, that's certainly something that we have to do, as we are looking throughout everything to see if we can do something. We didn't have enough points, so we had to wait for a few days. And eventually we went for the chassis upgrade. I don't know if my teammate is doing anything yet, but hopefully he will be helping us throughout the season to upgrade our car. Our teammate is, by the way, Yuki Tsunoda. And as you can see, we are now at the beautiful grid lineup. Aston Martin, of course, Alpine, a lot of teams. You can see me. Oh my god, I look beautiful. But of course, we are only in the background because we are not a top team just yet. But the goal is to secure points almost every single weekend. Of course, it will be difficult as this is still before the stats of the teams are updated. So AlphaTauri is actually second to last. That means, of course, that we are not gonna be happy with our car at the start.
A new day has dawned, a new season has begun. 2024 has started, and the competition is desperate to take the fight to Red Bull. And it starts here in free practice. So much unknown before we get underway. So what will be going through the drivers' minds as they get ready for the new season?
The faster you can work around the circuit conditions and get the car tailored to your liking, the better. And then you can just focus on the job in hand in terms of lap times. But first of all, you've got to get the car feeling right.
Let's start our weekend with practice. Let me know if you want to see practice more often, or if you just like me to skip that part and just go straight on into qualifying. But we started by doing some race pace, as I already had a setup for this track. So I decided to just go with race pace. We did that, and track acclimatization. Usually you do that first, but I already know the track by restarting career mode over and over again in earlier games. So we always drove at Bahrain. And eventually we ended with a bit of tire management. So that's practice done, I would say. Eventually I wanted to see what my pace was like on softs, and we got out in P10. Our teammate, Yuki, is only in P15, but still only practice. So I'm sure he can improve a bit, or maybe we need to put the difficulty a bit higher. I started on 88 as it was still the first day of the game, and I didn't really have any experience on the new game yet, but I quickly learned that we have to put it higher, and maybe higher.
Well, as the sun goes down, the speeds go up. It's almost time to get underway for this shootout for the fastest time and the best possible grid position for tomorrow's race. Let's get on with it. It's qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
Here we go. It's our first time in qualifying. As you can see, that's my helmet. And we head into qualifying. Q1 has just started. We are, I don't think we're the first driver, but we'll be one of the first drivers to go out on track and start a lap as we go down into turn 1. No lockups as ABS is enabled. I don't want to learn how to drive without locking up every single corner just yet, so I'll just take it easy for the first few episodes and maybe start learning it in the near future. But we find that our car is quite quick, even though it said that we were second to last in the development standings compared to the rest of the teams. But I don't know, we still managed to get ourselves in a fairly good car. Of course, AI is still a bit low, so we'll be overperforming a bit. Hello, thank you very much. And that felt like quite a quick lap. As we take a look at Yuki Tsunoda's onboard, he is doing his final few meters, and he will go from P15 to P12, it looks like. No, P13, I'm sorry. But we move into our second lap in qualifying, as I thought we wouldn't be quick enough with this one lap that we just did. Of course, for this first episode I decided to go for short qualifying. That means that this is the only qualifying that you'll see. Eventually, when I was doing the race, I was thinking like, yeah, that's not career mode, let's go for full qualifying. So from next episode on, you will be seeing full qualifying, and you will actually see the full qualifying of Q1, Q2 and Q3 in the next episode. Just a quick spoiler. But we finish qualifying off, and eventually we get into P12, which isn't actually too bad. But with a few penalties, we might go even higher. So let's get into the race, but not just yet, as we go up in the rating to 66 with the pace a bit higher. And let's go to the race.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities, and it could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakhir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Joe, Lightning, Stroll, Albon, Ocon, Magnussen, Gasly, Tsunoda, Sargent, Hulkenberg, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Now it's a new season, plenty of new opportunities, but I think I'm going to start with a question we may have asked last year as well. Can anyone stop Max Verstappen?
That's what they're hoping for. And that's what we're hoping for as well in some ways, because we don't want to see just one driver or one team running away with it this season like we had last year or even the years gone by in this sport. Can we get to see a two-way or even a 3- or 4-way fight throughout this race today? Fingers crossed we'll get that.
So we start our race in P11 as Lewis Hamilton is set to the back because of a grid penalty. I don't know if that's because of some component changes already, or if that's because, well, let's just say that he was not so nice to other people. But it's time to get started as we are doing our formation lap. We are behind Zhou and Bottas, and we are ahead of Stroll and Albon actually. When we go to the lineup of the grid, we are going for a optimal grid position, as Albon behind us was quite quick, so we got ghosted for a second there. But as we move to the grid, oh boy is it beautiful, 0.3 of a meter. So that's almost perfect, but it's finally time to get underway with the season. It's 3, 4, 5. It's lights out and away we go. The season has started. As you can see, a good start from everyone else, but we had a bit of a slide there with a lot of wheel spin going down to P12 already. A lot of changes in the start here. But into turn 1, we tried to go around the outside to get ourselves into the top 10, but we don't have the traction, so we have to sit back and stay for now in P11. A lot of changes, as you can see, but we move back into the car, going for a move down the inside of Zhou, and also Piastri. Oh my lord, that was one hell of a dive. But we didn't make it, as it wasn't actually planned. We just wanted to overtake Zhou to get into the top 10, but we managed to get ahead of Piastri as well. End of lap 1 is already done. We have 28 to go, and let's see if we can get some points off of that. We are in the top 10, of course, but as long as we can stay with Piastri, Bottas, and the Ferraris ahead, then we will definitely gain some points, as we will drop Zhou and Stroll fairly quickly. Hasn't happened yet, but I believe in myself. And Verstappen, you can see he's already got a gap of 2.2 seconds after just 2 laps. That man is insane. Taking a look at the minimap, you can see that he's got quite a big advantage, so we won't be seeing him anytime soon. But we've got our first objectives in this series. It's avoid engines staying above 146.1 degrees Celsius for 10 seconds per lap. Well, of course, we decided to lay back a bit. Zhou and Stroll are still very close to us, but there's a big gap after that, so I decided to stay within the DRS, but just far enough away so that the engine wouldn't overheat and we can, of course, get our objectives done. Oh my god, Nick. Come on. Come on. Let's see a replay. You can see we lose the back end out of the final turn, and that loses us quite a bit of time. 2 positions as well. That's back to P12 as we get our first exceeded track limits warning. But this of course means that our engine will be cooler, as we are not really close behind the cars ahead. But we stay and get quite a decent amount of pace. Luckily the tires aren't dead just yet. But it will be a 2-stop, by the way. I don't know how that could have happened after last year's games. It was easy 1-stop. You can see Stroll and Zhou and a few other drivers are into the pits already for their first stop, and we complete our objective. We will get a few objectives this weekend, so let's see if we can complete them all. A lap later, it's time for a lot of drivers, like Piastri, Bottas. I think it's Perez as well, Leclerc, Alonso. Yes, a lot of drivers are here, but we are now into P4. Of course, we still have to do a pit stop, so don't think that we have made it into the top 4 and we can actually finish there. Maybe if I did a medium-hard strategy, I would have gotten maybe a 1-stop out of it, but with our 2-stop and the softs, we will definitely not be getting P4 this weekend. Or maybe something needs to happen, as the pit stop was fairly good, so we decided to get back out of here and go for P13. Unfortunately, that's all of it, as the guys ahead are struggling to get their stuff together, as the 2 Kick Saubers and Lance Stroll are fighting. And they are actually colliding, but I didn't see a single piece of front wing come close to me, as we're in lap 11 and we are really close behind Stroll. We are looking to go around the other side. Can we stick it? Yes, we can. Can we get some ERS? Yes, please. And that's us up into P12. We can get back into the top 10. I believe in us, as my teammate is not stopping just yet. He is still in P2, so we'll be actually in P11, I think that is, yes, as Stroll is fighting back. The 2 Kicks are still fighting for that 1-point finish, but they didn't realize probably that they are both in the points at the moment. So yeah, that's really helping us, as we are in the fight with the 2 Kicks and with Stroll. That's our biggest fight of the entire race. The other few teams are just sitting back. And finally, my teammate is into the pits. We are now in lap 13 of 29, nearing the halfway stage. And oh boy, there's been a lot of fighting, but not really with us. We've been looking at a lot of fighting, unfortunately. But this, of course, helps us to stay close to the points, as we only need to overtake one of them. And by the looks of it, they are fighting so damn hard that they might screw each other and they might lose some pace because of it. If they just had a bit of team orders, as we get our second objectives as we are in the middle of the fight, if they had some team orders, they would run away easily, but they decided to fight as we go and do the same as we did to Stroll just a few laps ago around the outside here. And damn, does that look beautiful. We got 4 laps left to charge our ERS to 61.77%. And of course, as long as we are in the fight, we can't really do that, as we need to use ERS to stay ahead of Zhou and still close to Bottas. So we've been trying that for a few laps now. That's actually not true. We are still in the first lap of trying it. And eventually in lap 15, it wasn't even the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to sit back, relax, and just easily get ourselves that objective done. But in lap 15 we overtook Bottas and got ourselves a second warning. Oh, isn't it beautiful? But now it's time to recharge the battery, maybe let Bottas through again to get the battery up to 61.77%. As you can see, I let him pass to get some DRS as well. Mark is telling me to keep on him as he might make a mistake. Well, I was the one who made a mistake earlier on in this race. So as long as we can stay close to him, we put the ERS deploy to none to eventually get the objective done as well. So that's 2 for 2 now. Can we get a third objective, or is this all we have to do this race? 12 laps to go still. And that's the second pit stop phase starting right now. Up into P5, getting back into P4. And we are not going to pit this lap. We are going to pit next lap for another set of mediums. There's a really short stint, by the way, for the guys on mediums ahead. They actually only did like 8 laps compared to the 10 laps on softs. So that's really weird that they went for such a short medium stint. But the guys around me are of course on hard, so they will be staying out a bit longer than than me, I think. I don't really think they are going for an undercut on the hard. They might even go for the one stop. I don't really know. But we get past Bottas and we are up into P4, which actually means that we are up into P9. So let's just hope that we can stay in P9 and gain the first 2 points to put ourselves out there that we are point finishers on debut, just like Zhou Guanyu, who is actually now behind us. But we go into the pits for the second and final time. Optimal turn-in. Oh, isn't it beautiful? 2.5 second pit stop. Oh my gosh. Team, come on. That's a 5 second stop time. Luckily, we are still ahead of Zhou, but that loses us 2.5 seconds. We could have easily gotten that P9, but for now, it looks like we're still in the fight against Zhou. And maybe also Gasly. I think Gasly still has to pit, as he has come out of nowhere. So that actually means that we are a pit stop ahead of somebody, even though we're pit stop behind somebody. And on our outlap as well, we can see a new objective coming in, is achieve an average lap time of 1:33.271, and they count the outlap as well. They counted the outlap for average lap time. You can see next lap still 10 seconds off, the lap after that 6.5 seconds off, the lap after that, well, you can see we're still 4.9 seconds off, but we're pushing to the limit. We still got 1 lap left, but unfortunately we didn't make it, as we had to make up 20 seconds because they counted the outlap. If they just did that 1 lap later, we would have easily gotten it. But due to that, they actually made us fail the objective by pushing way harder than expected. As you can see, Sainz fighting with Alonso, Norris and Piastri. But you can see us in the background there. We're gaining on them as we were pushing so hard that we were actually faster than the McLarens as they are fighting. Just like the kicks, they like to fight their teammates today. Then that might gain us a position just like we did. No, maybe? No, unfortunately not. We can't do the same move as we did before. But maybe we can still fight Norris or Sainz or someone else who is at the moment in P8 to get even more points on our debut. As you can see, they are going 3 wide into turn 1. I think that's Sainz going up into the top 5. This fight is actually for the 5th position as we go down the inside. We were a bit late on the brakes. Beautiful move, but if we had better traction, we could have easily gotten P8. A big snap. And yeah, I think I ruined Norris's chance at getting a P5. That doesn't really matter, as Norris is not our teammate and he's not even close to us in development index and development, the race actually for us. So they'll probably still beat us by a lot. Our front left tire is 61%. Max Verstappen has just won the race, as we still have to do like 30 seconds. That man is insane. Can you take a look at the difference between Perez in P2 and Max Verstappen already done with the race? We are still fairly close behind Norris, Piastri and Alonso. Sainz got P5 and he just took it and went home. So can we get P8 or will it be P9 on debut? Let's see. We are pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. 3% in our battery, 2% in our battery. Not a move just yet, maybe on the exits, but we've been known to get a worse traction out of the corner compared to the McLarens. Yes, it's only P9. Not only P9, it's P9, baby.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Oh, that's beautiful. P9 on debut. It's amazing. I don't know what my teammate is. He did drive of the day. Oh, okay. So he must have gotten a really good result then.
That's it then for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win.
Well, all that off-season work clearly paying off here today, Crofty. A brilliant way to start the season with a solid victory. It's a real good confidence boost as well, and you feel like that's going to really propel them forward through to the next race coming up.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
And that's the podium for this race. You can see Max Verstappen won, of course, by 30 seconds. Sergio Perez in P2 and Charles Leclerc in P3. Hopefully one day we get the chance to be in Red Bull, or maybe even to win with AlphaTauri and get our first win, just like Pierre Gasly, just like the great Sebastian Vettel. But we are not there just yet. We still have to wait to get our beautiful first win. We did get a top 10 finish, which is actually not too bad. And as we take a look at the results, we can see Lewis Hamilton got up from P20 to P13. Our teammate who was driver of the day got... Oh my god. P20. That guy started P17. I started outside of the points. I got points on debut. How did I not get driver of the day for that? We've beaten our rival. And he's quite sad. Well, of course, he's finished in P20. Experience goes up to 51. Racecraft goes up. Awareness goes up. Pace goes up. Focus. Oh my god. That goes up quite a lot. 66.5 rated. We are almost 67 rated. But of course, that's still only for next weekend. 48% recognition. That will go up throughout the season as we grow our reputation. So hopefully we'll get the bigger side of the recognition fairly soon, as we are getting some good results. It's only the first weekend. If you want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Let me know what you expect of me to get at the end of the season. Can we get a podium? Can we get a win? Or is it just a few points? I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.